the future progressive tense will be going to the beach. Today, you'll be learning how to form and use the future progressive tense. The lesson's theme is the beach. If you have questions during the lesson, please write them in the right-hand column on your worksheet. How to form the future progressive tense. There are two forms of the future progressive tense. The first form is will plus be plus present participle. We will call this the will be form. The second form is be going to plus be plus present participle. We will call this the be going to be form. In the will be form, none of the elements change based on the subject. I will be napping, you will be surfing, 5 girls will be swimming, the men will be sailing. The will be form is always will plus be plus present participle. In the be going to be form, the first be is conjugated based on the subject. All of the other elements remain the same. I am going to be reading. We are going to be snorkeling. He is going to be boating. The girls are going to be fishing. In the be going to be form, the first be is conjugated according to the subject, and all other elements remain the same. When using or listening for the be going to be form, it is important to know that native speakers often pronounce going to as gonna. For example, the written sentence, they are going to be fishing from the pier, may sound like they are gonna be fishing from the pier. Or the written sentence, I am going to be playing in the surf, may sound like I am gonna be playing in the surf. To form a negative sentence, insert not after the first auxiliary verb. For example, Alexia and Kai will not be swimming with dolphins. Za will not be listening to music. I am not going to be watching whales this weekend. They are not going to be scuba diving. Often in speech and informal writing, when the sentence is positive, the subject and first auxiliary verb combine to form a contraction. And when the sentence is negative, the first auxiliary verb and the word not combine to form a contraction. For example, sentence 1a is positive, so the subject he and the auxiliary verb will combine to form he'll. He'll be building sandcastles. Sentence 1b is negative, so will and not combine to form won't. He won't be building sandcastles. Sentence 2a is positive, so the subject they and the auxiliary verb are combine to form they're. They're going to be playing in the surf. Sentence 2b is negative, so are and not combine to form aren't. They aren't going to be playing in the surf. In yes-no questions, the subject and first auxiliary verb switch places. For example, the statement, Azusa and Anna will be visiting the beach in July, becomes the yes-no question, will Azusa and Anna be visiting the beach in July? The statement, Dawit is going to be collecting seashells today, becomes the yes-no question, is Dawit going to be collecting seashells today? Now that you have learned the two forms of the future progressive tense and how to use them with negative sentences, contractions, and yes-no questions, please complete sections 1 and 2 on your worksheet. You may rewind the video as needed. How to use the future progressive tense. There are two main uses of the future progressive tense. First, it can be used to express a future action continuing over a period of time. It can also be used to express a longer future action interrupted by either a particular time or a shorter action. As you can see, the red arc represents the longer future action and the blue X represents the interruption by the shorter action. Unlike the simple future tense, both forms of the future progressive work for both uses. In the simple future tense, will and be going to do not mean the same thing. So the sentence, I will eat, does not have the same meaning as I am going to eat. But in future progressive tense, the will be form and the be going to be form have exactly the same meaning. So I will be eating has the same meaning as I am going to be eating. Both forms work for both uses. The main use of the future progressive tense is to express a future action that will continue over a period of time. For example, I will be watching for sharks all week long. Gregory is going to be jogging on the beach during his vacation. Please write 2 example sentences in section 3 of your worksheet. The second use of the future progressive tense is to express a longer action that is interrupted. Here, it is being interrupted by time. Isabella will be sitting under the umbrella when you meet her at 1:30. The longer action, sitting under the umbrella, will be interrupted at 1:30. Brandon is going to be walking on the beach at midnight. The longer action, walking on the beach, will be interrupted by midnight. Please write 2 example sentences in section 4 of your worksheet. In these examples, the longer future action is interrupted by a shorter future action. Shunto will be swimming if you need to find him. The longer action, swimming, will be interrupted by the shorter action, finding him. Karen is going to be sitting on the beach when the sun sets. The longer action, sitting on the beach, will be interrupted by the shorter action, the sun setting. Please write 2 example sentences in section 5 of your worksheet. Be sure to bring your completed worksheet and any questions you may have about the future progressive tense to the next class.